So, in today's video, we're going to be trying to see if we can find that Jim Henson statue that is supposed to be featured a part of the Television Academy Plaza in LA. Will we find it? Come along for the adventure and let's find out together. So, what are we waiting for? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, so Justin here, and we are here at the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame Plaza. It's an outdoor exhibit located in North Hollywood, California. The plaza is the only physical representation of the Television Academy Hall of Fame. While the Hall of Fame itself began in 1984, the plaza was first created back in May 1991. The plaza features bronze sculptures and wall sculptures depicting television pioneers who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. The centerpiece of the plaza is a 27-foot tall Emmy Award statue. In 1992, a deal was signed with the Walt Disney Company arranging for a portion of the Disney MGM studios at Walt Disney World to become the East Coast counterpart. I repeat, the East Coast counterpart of this little plaza museum here. So at Disney World, they have a own little mini version of this. And that opened back in 1994. Now, how does all this involve Jim Henson? Well, Jim Henson was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame back in 1987. He was honored for his significant contributions to television, including The Muppets, Sesame Street, and Fraggle Rock. And of course, he was recognized for his pioneering work in puppetry and children's television. So because Jim Henson was inducted into the Television Academy's Hall of Fame, the Television Academy had a bronze wall sculpture created and to be installed among the wall of the other greats and pioneers to help dedicate their time to television. On September 28, 2005, the Academy dedicated a bronze wall sculpture as a tribute to Jim Henson. The dedication ceremony coincided with the first day issue of the United States Postage Service stamp with Jim Henson and the Muppets on these stamps. And it's funny enough, my dad actually was able to collect those back in that year. The wall display was sculpted by Dick Stiles, and it stands more than 7 feet tall and weighs 1,200 pounds. The sculpture depicts Henson surrounded by Big Bird, Kermit the Frog, Oscar the Grouch, Ralph the Dog, Miss Piggy, and Gonzo. So that's why we are here today, to check out all these other amazing and awesome statues, but most importantly, we're here to see if we can find the Jim Henson statue. So on this side of the building, they have a bunch of a hall of busts of old school Hollywood actors, actresses, and producers and executives. So first up here we have Bob Newhart, actor, performer. And it's cool because they have a QR code just in case if you didn't know who Bob Newhart was or any of the other actors or actresses, you can definitely look it up. Here's another bust. We have James Gardner, actor and performer. There's Oprah Winfrey. There's Sid Caesar. We have Red Skeleton, famous comedian. Some of you guys might be familiar and maybe not familiar. If you're a younger audience watching this, definitely ask your parents or just watch MeTV. Here's Jackie Gleason, famous actor, comedic actor. We have Dick Wolf, writer and producer. Chuck Lorre, writer and producer. People should be familiar with Angela Lansbury, either by Murder, She Wrote or Bed Nods and Broomsticks. It's a Disney movie. She did a lot of different Disney movies, but she's the voice of Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. So, pretty cool. Alan Alda. Of course, for you, again, Disney fans out there, should be familiar with Dick Van Dyke. You guys are fans of Mary Poppins, Bert from Mary Poppins, and of course, many other famous movies and television shows that he was in, and he's still around today. Here's Tim Conway from The Carol Burnett Show and a bunch of other different comedy shows at the time. Barbara Walters, famous journalist and interviewer. Milton Berle, who of course was on The Muppet Show and multiple other classic TV shows and things like that. Very comedic actor of the time. But yeah, I mainly remember him, of course, from The Muppet Show. Okay, as the ambulance goes by, here's famous TV host Ed Sullivan. There he is right there. And of course, we have famous host of different TV shows, Bob Barker. A lot of you might know him from, of course, Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. They get into a fight on the golf course, but he's known for a lot of other things more than that. But a younger audience might know him more from that. And of course, you guys should, I would hope, know this guy, Rod Serling, of course, from Twilight Zone fame and other things as well. There's his little placard right there. And then we have Andy Griffith, actor, performer. So, pretty cool. And of course, we have Johnny Carson, who hosted The Tonight Show for many years. Gave him a full-on statue. And there is his performer plaque. So now we're walking up to some other busts around this little museum, outdoor museum. We have Dick Clark, famous host and producer. Remember watching all those countdown to New Year's Eve with Dick Clark, counting down the new year with my family and watching him on TV hosting the countdown to the new year. And now Ryan Seacrest does that. This should be a familiar face to everybody. We have Walt Disney, the creator of Mickey Mouse and Disneyland and animator, producer. If you don't know Walt, I don't know what to say. He's definitely a famous name. We have a bust of Joan Rivers, actress, comedian, performer in many of things. But as you guys know, she made an appearance next to Miss Piggy in The Muppets Take Manhattan. And I feel like her and Miss Piggy have always had a beef throughout the years. But yeah. So this is for all you Seinfeld fans out there. You'll know Julia Louis-Dreyfus, actress, performer, comedy actor, of course, of Seinfeld. She was the voice of Princess Ada in A Bug's Life and multiple other things that she has done. But again, for a younger audience that is not familiar with her work, I definitely recommend that you Google her, or you can even scan this QR code right here and it will take you through some of her work. Of course, this should be a famous statue. Well, at least you should know these two people in this statue form of themselves. We have very famous Lucille Ball, comedic actor and actress and producer of other things, along with her on-screen and off-screen TV husband and real-life husband, Desi Arnaz. As you see, they're kind of arguing about something like they would in the I Love Lucy show. So pretty cool. Sorry for the glare. I'm trying to get it the best way I possibly can. But they have her little nameplate right here, Lucille Ball. And then we have Desi Arnaz, performer and executive as well. So it's pretty cool. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Most well-known actors and a journalist. We have Betty White. A lot of you guys should know her from either Golden Girls or a bunch of other funny TV shows and things like that. Betty White is beyond famous and well-known and popular amongst different generations. But yeah, mainly because of Golden Girls and stuff like that. So there's her little nameplate right there, Betty White. It's so cool to see her as well amongst all these other awesome actors, actresses, performers, and things like that. This is, of course, what they call the Hall of Fame Garden. So tons and tons of different celebrity, writer, artists, directors. And they're actually over here too. There's like a ton of different. They don't have a bust of themselves. They actually have different plaques dedicated, but they give them like these little special plaques, which is super cool. Yeah, again, sorry for either wind noises or plane noises or whatever you hear passing by. It's interesting. But here we have Carol Burnett of the Carol Burnett Show and other things. And this is like a little mini bust version of her. Of course, we have Ron Howard, famous director and performer. A lot of you may know him from these movies that I'm popping up on screen right now. We have executive Ted Turner. So we have costume designer here, Bob Mackie, for those of you ladies out there who love designer wear and different costumes and things like that. Michael Landon, performer and director. And this was an epic fail. Not too much of an epic fail. I guess the Jim Henson statue honoring him here at the Television Academy is no longer here. Online it says it is, but it isn't. It looks like that they removed that from the wall, as well as the Joseph and Hanna-Barbera statue as well. That was also on the wall. It had like Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, and Fred Flintstone, and all this other stuff. That was really, really cool. They kind of looked like they had already been at the bottom of the Titanic because they're turning green. And I think, with all this being outdoors, that is, prone to happen. So, but we met a very nice person that worked here. He even let me hold an Emmy, which is super cool, an official Emmy that they give to actors and actresses that win it on stage. So that was super cool. And then we got to see a bunch of... All right, time out. So that's what I thought. Thanks to about a couple seconds later, back over and rechecking that giant wall of plaques, I ended up finding something that I had completely missed. So we may not have found Jim Henson himself, but there is the creator of Sesame Street, Joanne Gaines Cooney, producer. And there she is. As you can see, it says ABC 123 Sesame Street. We have Cookie Monster eating a cookie. There's Elmo and Big Bird. All right, sorry, time out again. Now, some of you guys are probably not familiar with Joan Gaines Cooney. You're probably thinking, wait, Justin, didn't Jim Henson create Sesame Street? But no, Jim Henson did not create Sesame Street. He contributed to the show by being the one who designed and performed the show's iconic Muppet characters, starting in 1969. Overall, the show was created by Joan Gaines Cooney and Lloyd Merced, who hired Jim Henson to bring his creative, educational, and engaging style to the program.
And so when they said Jim Henson, I said, you could get Jim Henson? And that was how Big Bird was born, and Oscar the Grouch.
For example, that would be like someone already wanting to own or produce some type of children's educational show. Then that person would outsource by looking for puppeteers or puppet builders who can build some puppet characters to add to their show. Joan Gaines Cooney was the originator of the preschool educational series Sesame Street. She was co-founder in 1968 of Children's Television Workshop, renamed later Sesame Workshop in June 2000, and served as president and chief executive officer until 1990. Some form of a Muppet character is in here, and that's pretty cool. So it wasn't a total epic fail, but super cool. She's the producer of Sesame Street. Oh, leave me a comment below letting me know, did you also know about this Jim Henson statue? And if so, do you think it's still around? Do you think that it got discarded? And do you think we could possibly in the future see a new one in its place? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. Hey, thanks so much for watching this fun, awesome puppet related video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned a lot. And if you did, please do me a favor and go check out the next video right here on the screen. Kermit and I think you will enjoy it, and we'll see you over there. Until next time, take care and well, have an awesome day.